Hey, welcome aboard. I'm Christoph Sapinski, and we're doing some free spacer prep for Terminal City Tabletop Convention today. Last time we saw us, we made up the ship. We made most of the ship. Here it is. It has no name because I want players to name it themselves. And a couple other things aren't filled out, like the charge and some of the cargo stuff, because they need to be able to erase that as they go. Also, we missed one little part on the back of it. We have the tug, we have the launch. Should really say launch here and then tug down here. Gotta fix that sheet. Always more to do when you're doing game design. Okay, cool. So over here in the book, we're just gonna get right into it. Thanks everybody who managed to come on out and everybody on YouTube. Anyways, so we're gonna get right into it and just move my chat window around so I can actually see it if people want to jump in and suggest something, because that's why we're here. At least in part. Okay, I'm also here to show you how this works. So, as it was supposed to be part of the ship, the launch. So, the launch is like, it's not a shuttle. Shuttles are bigger, they go into space, do all this stuff. It's more like, in Firefly, they have that mule, in the movie anyway, the one that flies. Or, like the little bumblebee in the newest Star Trek Discovery, the little one that flies around us stuff. It kind of does some shuttle-y things, but it is a way scale vehicle. It's your car. It flies around. It has like a pulse drive, which means it has inertia, unlike the ship, which is inertialess. All that sort of stuff. And it's a multi-part vehicle too. It's really cool. It's got like a tug that pulls different types of trailers, and the tug can fit 2 people, and the trailers can carry a bunch of people or no people or cargo, or they could just be cargo pods, that sort of thing. So it's pretty neat. So the launch is right here. The description of it is pretty easy. I recently upgraded some of it. But let's just get to it. You have 5 upgrades. So I originally did at one point actually try a version with only 3 upgrades, as I was like, oh, I'll give more room for earlier upgrades by players, and also at one point had it so you could use some of your own tool points to upgrade the launch, but nobody ever did that. So instead, I'm switching to just give you 5, and then later, because it always seems to be a lower priority than upgrading the ship or your own weapons, you'll have a launch that'll be a little bit better for a little bit longer. So we're using those new upgraded rules, and we're going to give them some stuff. So they get 5 points. They can put those points in armor. Armor's nice for a shuttle. Into shields, or into the pulse drive. So you always want to put at least 1 into each of these. And so you got to figure out what they're doing. So the crew's a scout crew. The launch is most often used to... because you can land the ship, right? Oh, that is not correct. That should be deleted. There we go. You can land the ship. Corvettes are size of a small nuclear sub or a really big World War II sub. So they're good size, but they can be landed quite easily. I've had recent in my evening Monday games, which we have online here on Twitch. You can also see them on YouTube, where the crew have been landing the ships in like swamps and pools of water so they can hide the ship a little bit more effectively. So, there's that sort of thing you can do. Anyways, so tugs are most likely used on planet side or to make orbit. So you notice their mods are a bit different than the mods for the pulse drive are a bit different than the grav drive. So on the grav drive, you have a bunch of things, a bunch of different ones. But in this one, you have nav assist that replaces fold, because obviously the tugs can't fold space. And So nav assist is actually the ability for the vessel to help you like in traffic situations. So if you put a bunch of points in there because you are a really like core group and you're going to be flying around through traffic all the time, it would help you with that. Like if you wanted to spin through traffic at high speed and overcome like others in a chase or something, you definitely use nav assist. Atmospheric thrusters as general in atmosphere operations, and orbital injectors, that's between orbit, and wake generator, that's for towing things, which is actually in some ways almost more important for these vessels, except ramming. Ramming is the main way, or one of the big ways that it could be really useful for ships. Anyway, so shield side, the shields are pretty much exactly the same as your personal shields that the players really use, or ship shields, pretty similar to those two. So we have 5 points to put into these. I'm going to put probably 1 into atmospheric thrusters. Let's zoom in on that a little bit, eh? Okay. So let's get back up pen, and we're going to right in the center there. That looks more like it's full. Okay, and then we also want to probably have the vessel protected from collisions and that sort of thing. So let's put a point in there. Armor's nice. Let's put 1 little armor on that. So now we get 2 more points. Now this is what you could have done in the old version. Now the new version gives you 5 points. So there's a lot of ways that's a bit better. So you can spread it around. I've been doing a lot of spreading around with this group because I want to kind of give them to have a chance to do whatever stuff they want to do. But I'm going to put it in their scout group. I think I'm going to put it in hull projector. Everybody always likes to be able to stealth. It's super fun. And I'm going to put another one in orbital thrusters. So they're going to have a little bit harder time flying around in space in this thing. Once they're in the atmosphere, they're going to do really, really well. Cool. So that's most everything. The trailer's already marked. And, well, we're not naming things. And I'll have to remember to upgrade this sheet. So I'll just make a note. Because, date, ship sheet. Because that tug was originally when it was in line with this, because it just means this section is the tug. Well, you can't see that. The section with the pulse drive and all that sort of stuff is the tug. Well, the trailers are separate. The tug and trailer together is the launch. Cool. Okay, so that's pretty much that. It's done. It's simple. Okay, so now on to crew commissioning. So as part of the start is all explanations of the different skills in the game. We have 2 departments of skills, that sort of thing. Your crew kit, because in the game we don't have a ton of different, we don't have vast equipment lists in Free Spacer. Instead, we have a crew kit. It has everything you need to be a free spacer. It comes with your multi-tool that can be used to shoot people or stab people, or as a tool for once when you don't want to murder people, to do like repairs or to fabricate something. Use your multi-tool for that. As a tractor pulse, you can change gravity on things and have things move around and stuff. It's pretty fun for that. You got your scanner, your link. Scanner's pretty obvious, but your link is like your comm browser, internet, computer device. The version we're probably going to show, which is kind of human-y, is mounts around a human's ear and projects AR onto their eyes, and basically is the center of their personal area network. Likewise, they have a what is it? Let's just call this skills. Okay. Likewise, they have biochem kit for medicine and their own personal shields. So anyways, so that's what you just explained here, and we're going to get into it. So we're probably not going to make a character for every single player right now. So for the to have a nice balanced crew, especially for newer players, we want to have someone in every ship station if we have enough players. So the way the game divides it is you choose 2 stations. They can be in any of the 3 departments, and you can choose anything you want. But we suggest right here in our ship stations that you choose 1 ship station for each character. So those stations are sensor analyst, pilot, shield engineer, and gunner. So if you take 2 of these, you're kind of stealing spotlight, especially on board ship. You'll also find yourself doing lots of multitasking, that sort of thing. It's a bit of a pain. It's more difficult when you have to do those tasks yourself. We had that on my Monday night game where the captain ended up with no ship station and one other crew member took 2, and it caused some interesting thing where the captain kind of could do everything because it was really well generalized, but he just kind of took one of the stations even though someone else would have been better at it. And so it was a bit odd. It was something we worked with in game, and you totally will be able to as well. But when I do con games, I like to spread it around, do it as advised. So we're going to do that. So what should we make up? This is how we're starting with 1 character. So we will make up multiples of these. So I don't have names for these characters, so I'm going to call it... We're going to just make up one of it. We're going to put in these essential skills, and then I'll finish one fully, and then I'll finish up the other ones probably off stream, because it's a bit of work to have you guys watch it all. It's going to be a bit long. Okay, so I'm basically setting up a layer for each character. I can turn these on and off and print them separately. Okay, so I'm just creating a layer for each. So we got sensor analyst, pilot, and we just need to add, we got the gunner, we just need to add the shield engineer. Okay. Okay, you hear my keyboard. My desk is very loud. Okay, cool. Sensor skills. Okay, so we are first making up a sensor officer, or sensor analyst. And this character we are going to okay, so the way you fill this out is you choose a department and a station. So we already know we're going to do a sensor officer. A sensor analyst is an ops station, like many of these are. And oh, the name got cut off. Okay, so in this area, we type in ops. Let's see if 10 point is too big. That's an ops station. That looks fine. And we will also put in sensor analyst. Then we need to figure out a second station for them. So first, oh, I don't know why I didn't write all the letters. Okay, yeah, that's the proper spelling. Okay. Cool, so what you see in there, it's a sensor analyst. And so the way this works, all this stuff right here reads, so we're choosing first station, and then we choose what their expertise and then their trained skills are. And then they get some specialties based on those. So first, we know that a sensor analyst's expertise skill is going to be no, that's a bit. Where is their skills? Okay, we'll make a new sheet. Do not know what happened to it. Okay, so they get, we're gonna have to zoom in a little bit on the sheet. Okay, now we can see, right? I'll move it over, fold it for you. There we go. So that's the sheet, most of it anyways, and we're looking in the ops station, perception. So they're experts in perception. So everybody gets expertise. This is the expert die. You can see X at the top there. Gets 1 in expertise. And if you get expertise, you automatically get training in it. So they get the expertise and the training. And then, as it says here, they also get a tool package. So what they get to choose between reactor, scanner, or shields. So we move down here, and we're looking at, let's give them scanner, because that totally makes sense. They're sensor officer, they should get that. They're explorers. Let's just give them survey sensor. Okay, so. Okay. And they get 2 specialties of their choice within perception. So they are going to take survey and analysis. Okay. The expertise. Okay, so expertise skill, expertise, the trained die, the 2 specialties of choice, and then they get a trained skill. You notice next to survey, or next to sensor analyst, perception and geosciences. So they also get trained in that. So they don't get the expertise, they get the training. So 1 there, and along with this, they get 1 specialty. So we're going to take plantology, because they're explorers. Look at that. Ready to boldly go wherever they boldly need to go. Okay, and then finally, they get 2 tools from listed tool sections. So I already took the survey sensor. They just get 2 points they can put in the tools. So, I think safety first. We're going to take kinetic deflector. No, they're going to take energy dissipator. There you go. They just don't want to be a shot. Okay. Okay, so that is done. So the next thing we need to do is choose a second specialty. So we have to figure out what else we want to do along with this. So the sensor officer, do we want that to be somebody who could be like the captain? Do you want that somebody who could be like the geosciences expert? Maybe they're the doctor? That might be interesting, making them bioscientist. Yeah, let's do that. That's kind of fun. So doctors, that's an engineering station of that's a station of the engineering department. So we right here see doctor. So we're going to write text. We're going to write engineering here. ENG, because it's an eng station. And then we are also going to right in here the name of the station. Oh, and look at that. It's when you're trying to do things quickly, what happens? It doesn't need to be a sensor analyst. Don't need to write it down twice, it goes off. There we go. That looks less ridiculous. Okay, so like the last station, we get similar skill selections. So we get expertise in biosciences. Okay, so biosciences, they get the training in that and the expertise. And then they get 2 specialties of choice. Medicine, I think, is necessary. And then, well, I'm going to choose agriculture. Now, agriculture is like, what? Why would you choose agriculture? Well, agriculture and free spacer is kind of cool. It is this thing where you, if you're an explorer and you want to take samples of plants, that's an agriculture test. If you want to do anything along with like the general biome of an alien planet or anything, that's all agriculture. And these are explorers, so let's give them that. Biomechanics is if you want to deal with like biological organisms. So we might want to give them a point like that later, but they only get this right now. Okay, so a doctor also, they understand people. They get sophantology as a trained skill. So sophantology, like, what is that? A sophont is a sapient individual. They are wisdom. They're people. So sophantology is study of individuals like this. It's different from politic right above it, because politic is all about large groups of people, societies, and crowds, and that sort of thing. So we get their training in that, and we get the 1 specialty. Are they good at acting and lying? Are they good at persuasion? Are they a persuasive doctor, or are they just an insight? I'm going to give them insight, because I think that's kind of makes sense. We're making kind of a kindly doctor here now. They understand people, and they're explorers. Cool. Okay, so next, all the stuff from the wartime faction. Now, wartime faction requires us to make a faction. So we have to go to another, see where are these people from? Do we want them to be really sciencey, like they're from the Helix Combine? Are they from the Helix Combine, or also the big corporate groups? Are they from there? Are they noble types, like House Trajan? So let's look through. So we got different faction sheets here. We've already started. So we already have their patron, the University Exploration Group, Exploratory Group. Now, it might be kind of cool just to put them in this group. Like, they're a doctor. They're sensor analysts. It makes totally sense that they're actually just a science from the Cisco Institute. So I think I might just do that. I will be making up more for one of our other types soon. But they're going to be from the Helix Combine and the Cisco Institute. So let's go back and make sure we're in the right folder. Okay, and we are going to put down the wartime faction as the Cisco Institute. So they've been with the Cisco Institute since the beginning. So they're a professor, perhaps? Something like that. That's a pretty cool character. Okay, so that's going to lead us right into, we have all this stuff about making the basics of the society in the commissioning. So you don't have to scroll through to the prep section. You can just make down the basics here, get the notes from your players if you're the GM, or tell your GM what you want them to make, and they will go in and do the rest. This fellowship part at the top, that's if you decide that you want to share a faction or not with the other members of your group. I'm doing this all by myself, so I kind of skipped that a little bit because I'm kind of going one by one. Normally you'd be doing this all at the same time, so it'd be a little different. Okay, so the archetype we know is university. So we're getting a skill package based on that. right? So from the skill package, you get a trained skill and a specialty in every single one. And if it's already trained, you just get the specialty. And later you'll get to move those around on your own. So let's, we know our university, Cisco Institute is a university. So we are going to mark culture. Okay, so culture is kind of an interesting skill. It has, anthropology, history, and linguistics. So if you have linguistics as a specialty here, you know lots of different languages. I think they're going to be an anthropologist. Going very university professor here. I'm thinking we might do that, something like that for our background too. Real understandable for players. Okay, geosciences. Now, they already have their skill in geosciences. So this means that this point will be kept later, and we're gonna put it wherever we want for this character. So I don't think they even got into buildings, so their geosciences, they're gonna put an extra dot in planetology. They really understand planets. Okay, and finally mechatronics. So mechatronics is mechanics, understanding materials, like what plating's made of. You can fix a door, you can pick a lock, you can do archaic technology stuff, like you can do the internet. You don't have to be just on fancy future stuff. You can use doors, all the floors, you know how to fix armor. So they get mechatronics, and they're going to get one in here. And they're about this sort of stuff. They're going to take archaic technology. So they don't care so much about fixing doors. They care more about their studies, their anthropology. Okay, cool. So we already know the name of it. So next is the background of the character. So, scholar. Bing, bing. That's just exactly what we want. So we are going to record that here. Well, click better. Okay. There you go. They're a scholar with the Cisco Institute. Super cool. Okay. Oh, their skill package. We're going to have some doubling up here. Well, that's okay. They're going to get to spend these points later somewhere else. These pips will be used, just not right now. So, culture. Already dealt with. We don't move it as expertise because the character only has 2 expertise. They're stations. That's what we want. Keeps you kind of niche protection, right? Okay, so a scholar has culture, so we get something like that. I think they should get either history or linguistics. Both are really interesting for this character. I think we're going to go linguistics. They should know some more languages. This also gives them an extra language at the beginning of the game. Politic. They get a training in that, and so these are slightly odd. Marketing is basically selling yourself to groups of people, oratory, that sort of thing. Teachers are pretty good at that. Gathering information is going around and finding information from large groups of people, listening in crowded situations, that sort of stuff. And administration is dealing with bureaucracies, large groups of people, that sort of thing. Now, I might put it in there if we were doing this for a long term, because then as the player, they might decide to move it later to marketing or something. But I kind of want them to be able to give speeches and that sort of thing right off the bat, because that's kind of fun. So I'm going to put it into marketing. So they're kind of a speechifying professor or something. Okay, so finally, interface. Interface is your ability to use computers. If you're Google Foo, that sort of thing. So they're going to put in that, and well, they're a professor. So research. Yes, your Google Foo in action, using libraries maybe even, that sort of thing. There you go. And then finally they get one tool mod. Okay, so we scroll down to here. We gave them, we did not give them 2 for their doctoring. Okay, so for their doctoring, I know they get 1 in, they'll have 1 in biochem kit. Let's scroll back up because I missed it, like good Nimrod. And 1 in link. I think we could double up. Maybe we will double up because we're allowed to do that. I'm gonna fix some of the writing so it's really obvious. But let's put it in. Should put it in samplers, syncing samples. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so this is what they have, and now we get to choose for their background of scholar. No, we're choosing for university. No, they don't get a skill for that. We get only tool selection mod for scholar, and they get either in the link or shield. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, because it might not always be like biology or whatever. They could be a different type professor. So I think they're definitely gonna take one in the link then. And I think in comp browser. Okay, so it's 5 there. It's coming along really well. Okay, so we're moving pretty quick. Next, they get to choose a species. Now, I made them kind of just use the patron as their group before. We could make a new species for them. Do we even have a species sheet? So the whole species production system here, where we can make our own species. But let's just use the human one. So if we scroll down a little bit further, here's all the human setup. So we know they're going to be the dominant species in one group. So we should go to key society sheet and make sure that the dominant group, or they're usually the dominant group here. So we got biased, so there's going to be lots of dominant species, but one of them is going to be human. This is too big for this sheet. There we go. Okay, there we go. Humans on that sheet. Let's go back to our proof sheet. Okay, so this is going to be a human. So you see the species thing right here. We have a whole widget, I suppose you could call it, for species. So we're just going to fill out the human details. I think a human doctor is an interesting character for the ship. Sensor analyst, good at seeing things. So we know from looking at this, their size is medium. And their build is average. And next to that is the gravity thing. So this is kind of cool. The build of a character is based on the type of gravity, surface gravity of the world they live in. Okay, so we're running out of room here, so we're gonna have to make this smaller. Which makes sense actually, because this is real big. Okay, that is too big for this, so let's hyphenate a little bit. Okay. There. And let's make this other one the same, so at least it looks the same. Okay, cool. So we know that. We know how many limbs they have, because it's written here, and we've met humans. They have 4 limbs. So the way we do this is arm. The number of limbs includes things like tails and trunks and tentacles and everything you have. So a lot of creatures on our planet have 5 limbs because they have a big tail and 4 legs and they run around like that. You know, we have some, they meow. We all love them. They're called cats. They would have been 5. with 0 manipulators. But we're humans, so we have 4 limbs, 2 manipulators, because our tail limb has disappeared over the years. Okay, cutis. This is our skin. We have fleshy skin. And, then our nexia. Nexia is an outer layer over top of that. And for ours, it's hair. We have hair on our bodies. Others, it could be fur, which is different from hair. There's a kind of a distinct difference. Okay, so now we got a bunch of little stats here, which are really kind of cool. Tell us a lot about them. So our respiration is oxygen, carbon dioxide. Nope. That's what happens if you press the wrong button. Okay, so okay, and I can make this smaller. Make this. Oh, I think I needed that. There we go. There we go. We can even do this. Okay, and we're omnivores, although not everyone chooses to eat everything. We can. Our bodies are evolved to eat both. We do not initially get sick for most of us when we eat meat. We're omnivores. And that ended up on. Okay, cool. So, gender strategy, we're dimorphic, which means we have 2 sexes. They're in the game, they have a whole variety of them, or I have a whole variety of them. There's a trimorphic, where you have a neuter sex that is not involved in, this pretty much all comes down to like a breeding thing. So. And they're listed in the level of requirement for that breeding process. So females of the species are often, especially because they're aliens, are aliens that carry and produce the young in some manner. They lay the eggs, at least initially, that sort of thing. You can come up with all sorts of stuff yourself. So partition is how do you put your babies into the world? This is kind of an important thing. We actually had a player leave, and the excuse we gave was they were minding eggs. So they went and became poor drifters rather than leave their eggs. And I'll tell you why they become poor when we talk about retirement. Okay, number of young. This is actually one of these sorts of numbers. There you go, 1d6. Humans have 1d6 young per go. I don't put any curves in it. Okay, so finally, the last things we have are a group of augmentations based on this. So we get climber. Humans have grasping hands from arboreal evolution. We just write down climber here. And we are going to get a lot of names in here. Up the pips. So for every augmentation, every sort of natural ability, you automatically get 2 dice. But you do still have to spend charge on them. So if you're taking advantage of your arboreal revolution to climb, so when the doctor decides to climb something, like a tree or something, they're going to be able to get 2 dice if they spend a charge. We'll talk about that as we move forward. Okay, so next is fast, because we're persistence hunters. We're good at just moving quickly in stressful situations due to our eons of evolution to be able to just walk after animals until they fall down exhausted. Yes, humans can do that. I mean, not all of us. Some of us will get winded or cannot run for that long. But we are designed to be able to gain that ability. Other species might not be able to at all. So, and finally, we're agile. So humans got a very specific kind of selection. As a player, if you wanted to make up your own alternate human, because you think other augmentations make more sense for humans, you could totally do that. In my weekly game, we actually have a slightly different variance where we gave them, instead of agile, they have a couple types of armor. And the initial idea of that was humans had been genetically engineered before they left their homeworld for radiation and pathogens. It made sense, so we went with it. Cool. So we did all these traits. We're not doing any of these trivial traits. You have some trivial traits that don't actually give you any points or anything. Like android, if they're not actually a living alien, ancient, plant-like, symbiote. Plant-like just basically means you breathe the same atmosphere. Symbiote means that you're actually this weird dual species, uplifted, and then variant, if there's some sort of variance you want to do. So you give yourself this if you want to just be an alternate human. Like you are humans that left Earth millions of years before. You're making up the lost Cro-Magnons, the Cro-Mags. Okay, so we already know where they're from, and the demographics are, and we already have their heritage listed. We'll make sure this is on the species sheet once we do that. And homeworld, I think we know where that is. Earth. Okay, so we're moving into the final stretch here. Next is recruitment. Now, I've tried giving this to people to choose during play, and I may again. Do I want to do that? I think I'm going to choose their recruitment, but allow them to choose their drive. Tell them the list during the time. But we'll go over it right now. So first things first, what is their recruitment? We definitely should choose it for them, I think. I think they're devoted. They're a member of the Cisco Institute before, and they decided to become free spacers because they wanted to get out there and do the science themselves. So they're devoted. To the cause of their patron. Okay, so we're going to leave drive open, and we're going to have them write it in. So drive's cool because it's kind of like a motivation you use. It also allows you to gain charge, which is one of the main resources you use to activate all those tools and dice and stuff like that. So finally, we're going to do what we call special training. This is kind of an update to make of how this is presented. So I'm really excited to see how it works when I'm using it right now. So they have 2 expertise skills. Yep, and yep. Okay. And then they have 10 train skills. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Remember, we missed 2 because 2 of them weren't there. So we'll just remember 2. I'll hold them like this. Cheese. Okay. And then they get 12 specialty dice. Now these should be good, unless I screwed up. Distraction of streaming. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Perfect. Look at that. It's beautiful. Okay. Doubling. Okay, so you can train any of the skills you wish till you have 10 trained skills. So what do we want to add them in? So they just get 2. So we get to do 2 more. And after this, we're going to get to do a couple more than that. So let's just give them the 2 right here. It makes most sense for someone who's going to be doing this sort of thing. He has shields. I mean, he wants probably going to want to be not dying. Like, shields are good. So 1 for that. And then fitness. I mean, this guy looks like he goes on the planets a lot, so endurance might be useful. Let's do those. Okay, so that's now 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, we're going to be revisiting this in a second with the electives. Okay, electives. We get 2 elective trained skills. So after he was all deciding to do this character, he, she, it, them, after they had done this, what did they want to do? I think they would be really worried about getting special training in shooting stuff, because they're like, oh no, I'm probably going to die. I don't think they're big into programming, and they'd probably want to be able to run around on planet. So there you go. That's 12. So you notice it's 12, which kind of leaves you in inverse 2 weak skills. This is total 1. Because we have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 15. So there's 3 weak skills. So they're not so good at economy, not so good at pilot, not so good at inscription. And so at the beginning of the session, I'll allow them to move these around. I'm filling them in on here, so it might be a bit of a pain. Have to think about that. Okay, cool. So next, specialization. They get 8 additional specialties, bringing the total to 20. So they currently have 12 specialties. 1, 2. Yes, we counted that. Okay. So, what is important for this character? I think they would really want to have some biomechanics. And they would likely want to be able to defend themselves. So, that's 2 out of it. I think they might also take 1 in pulse away weaponry. That's 3. Okay, so social skills, history. History is important to them. Administration. And persuasion. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. We get 2 more skills. I think they're going to shoot stuff, and it might be good if they could run. That's parkour, running, jumping, climbing, all that sort of stuff. And I don't think they're particularly alert. You know, I just like buildings very much. What is 1 more? Maybe network defense. They come from a place like this. Yeah. That's a lot in here. That's 3. 5, 1, 2, 3, 5. Well, let's just put it somewhere. Oh. Put it in our defense. Okay, cool. So that's their specializations, and they're going to get some languages. Okay, so far they should have actually got a few languages. We just haven't written them down. Also, their associations should be marked in here, that sort of thing. Okay, so their wartime faction and their patron faction is the same thing. Cisco Institute's right here. And they're going to be a human. Okay, so where are languages? Languages are on the back sheet. So that is next. So zoom in a little bit. And we are going to put a new folder in here just for the sensor analyst. Okay. Put a sheet down there called pips. And then we are going to mark them a couple languages. So they get interchat, I believe. Let's double check with Helix Combine. They speak interchat. And Truvian. Okay, so they get these languages automatically. Interchat. And then because it's an interchat language, we are going to fill out Truvian right here. Oh, that's too big. There we go. Okay, so interchat and Truvian, and then what else do we have? Well, if they have culture, expertise, or linguistic specialty, well, let's go double check the character. And I believe they do have linguistics. They do have a linguistic specialty, so they automatically will get another language. I think they're going to want a major language. Let's look at host Trajan. Oh, where is the key sheet? I forgot to write down their prevalent language. Is INX. So let's go back to host Trajan. We'll write down INX right here. I think they're a pretty important society, and we are going to want this exciting character, Dr. Sensor Analyst here, to know INX. So we could also just give them one of these other minor languages, but we're just going to give them a pip in INX instead. Because knowing a major language makes more sense, right? There you go. We can define them during play, so if we would have given him another one down here. So they also get these two, so they also get one for their, okay, so they were supposed to get some during ship commissioning. It's one of the problems with doing those kind of separately, but we ran out of time last time. Okay, so they should get one for their species, one for their patron, and one for their own society. So that's for their patron, that's for their society, and they get one more. So we're just going to put a pip in here, and we'll have them fill in what language they know. So they might know English, And then this one's for that. So they get 3 plus the 1. There we go. Okay, so finally we get to standardize their tools. So back to the other side of the sheet. So standardization, this is new. Okay, just we should have reactor capacity of 3. Yep. And 5 tool mods. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There you go. Which also would include the EVA suit, which you're looking at right here. So we are going to give them 5 more points down here. So what do they want that in? Their sensor analyst should put stuff in every skill or in everything. Do I say that? No. But it might be nice if they can shoot stuff. So they upgraded their gun. That's 1. Their shield. That's 2. And let's see, they took 1 more outer shell armor. Does that make any sense? No, I don't think it makes any sense. So we're going to upgrade their med tool. That's 3. Okay, so if they want to produce stuff that's using incubator, we can also upgrade. They want their analyzer. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think we get 1 more. So we could put that into one of their sensors. We could put it potency so they could do more damage if they actually poison someone, or incubator if they want to do more of that sort of thing. I think I'm going to put it in survey sensors. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13. So, yeah, I'll have to add to this that there's a total of 13 at this point. Cool. So that's real fun. Now we have pretty much finished with this character. We need to decide if they're captain. They're not going to be the captain, I don't think. And they don't get any contacts at the beginning. They do get debt shares on the back of their sheet. We're going to fill in debt here. If it goes up for any reason, which it can't really go up during play. But we are making up, how many characters are we making up? Let's go back to the front of the sheet, double check. One, 2, 3, 4. We're gonna make 4 characters. We'll probably end up having to make up a 5th. Yeah, because I did say 5 people would come to this game. Okay, so we're going to be making up 5 characters. I'm just going to give them the standard of 6 because it's pretty close and it's easier. Okay, let's put down 6 debt, and there we go. We're done. So that's character. Everything except the name and a couple of the stats, or a couple of the charge of the resources and stuff you get. But that's our sensor analyst. Okay. There we go. Reset. Let me double check that we have access to a species sheet. And then we can move on. So what are we looking at here? Okay, so we're gonna make 1 more, and this time we're definitely gonna make an alien. Okay, so let's see, do I have the species sheet out? Nope. I opened so many sheets. Species sheet. Okay. Here we go. Okay, because we know we're going to make one. Normally you wouldn't do this during character creation, but let's, how long have we been on stream? Let's take 5 minutes, and I'll be back in just a second, and we will go through and make up a species creation. We'll do species creation, and then we'll use that for some of our other characters afterwards. So I'll see everybody back in about 5 minutes. Talk to you soon.